Hello. So today's gonna be a little bit interesting. I think I've done a similar video like this in the past on this channel. But basically what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be playing an 8 bruiser trick shot style of game. I wanted to show this game because number one, I'm just going through old VODs that I think are useful. But I think this game really illustrates vertical traits versus like how to cap out your board very strong, right? Because this is a game, it's like a fairly easy top 4, right? I hit everything that I need to hit, but I'm unable to get a first, right? I'm unable to convert my position to a first. So I want to show you maybe like some options, especially late game. I'll probably have a lot to yap about. Almost said a yacht to yap about. And we'll see how it goes from there. So like usual, you know, make sure to like and subscribe if you like this content. We go through daily VOD reviews. There'll be a new guide coming out probably next week. I'm just super swamped this week. Basically today and tomorrow are my last days to finish some art projects because Friday is my start of my presentation, like my gallery spot at an art exhibition area of Anime North, like an anime convention. So that's what I've been working a lot on. That's why I haven't been streaming and I haven't been grinding TFT very aggressively. These are a little bit older games. I am master now, right? I played like a game a night and I just ranked up to master, right? It's that time of the patch where, you know, if you get into high diamond, or if I get into high diamond, it's not very hard for me to get a couple W's up there. You know, it took me a little bit longer than the last patch, but that being said, like this whole month, I basically have only been playing like 1 or 2 games a night, if any at all. Like there's some nights, like the last like 3 or 4 nights, I haven't played any games, right? So you know, right now it's like I'm debating if I build this Rek'Sai. The tech is if you're playing like oh wait, I just need to fix my inking. 1 second. So I'll show you some tech here. So this is what you usually do if you're not sure what to build, right? Because I already have like these behemoth front lines that I might be playing around. What you want to do is you want to put 1 Rek'Sai in, leave 1 on bench, and then you buy the second Rek'Sai after the round starts, because that way if you need to sell something and you don't want to make it, you can just like decide not to. So here I have this Rek'Sai 2 already, right? This gives me a Tahm Kench, right? If I get a Kabuko, I'm already at 4 bruiser. Stand United is something that I think is really strong, but I haven't ever had a spot to play around it yet. But I basically took this because it gives me the bruiser +1, the bruiser synergy. I have decent tank items as well. And what I'm usually like, I think the line is with bruiser is you usually just play towards Kai'Sa, right? Because Kai'Sa naturally uses the bruiser front line anyways. There are some other options, like you could play like a bruiser Lilia setup, right? Which is probably stronger in today's meta, but it basically just comes down to if I hit AD or AP items, right? And you're either playing around this Tahm Kench, or you're just playing the Kai'Sa board that usually plays 4 bruiser anyways. And you can play like less mythic, more bruiser with Lilia. Usually like, it's just because Lilia is really strong. Here I make Crown Guard. The main thing I'm playing towards is SYLAS, right? Another option that you can have is SYLAS carry, right, with 8 bruiser. So for those of you that don't know, like 8 bruiser, what it does is every couple seconds it basically does like a bunch of extra physical damage. So this extra damage that you get from 8 bruiser, as well as your front line being very tanky, it's kind of like a very stall heavy comp where you have like these impenetrable wall of 8 bruisers, and they also do damage over time, right? They do a little bit of dot. See, as you can see there, it's like bruisers deal 6% of their health as bonus physical damage, right? So it's really important to have that goal here. If you're playing the 8 bruiser line, it's usually very strong, but I think that it doesn't cap out as high. You could also just play like 4/6 bruiser with the emblem, right? Because what you could do, especially with Kai'Sa, so let's say like Kai'Sa, what you can do is you can play Ink Shadow with a bruiser emblem, right? So if you don't know the Kai'Sa board, basically like, you know what the Kai'Sa board, you usually play 4 bruiser, 4 trick shot. If you play this on level 8, right? What ends up happening is that you can't fit in like your Ink Shadow. So if you want, and then you just have to go 9 in order to find like an Udyr and play Ink Shadow and whatever. But what you could do is you could just like bruiser emblem like some sort of Ink Shadow unit, like either like Volibear or a Jax if you don't find an Udyr. and then you'll have 3 ink shadow as well. So you'll get like the free item. That's like the tech usually. I think the ink shadow one is better than playing the 8 bruiser. 8 bruiser, you need to be level 9 to play 8 bruiser, right? If you don't have like a target dummy, you can't just play 8 bruiser, right? Because this is gonna take up 7 units. So you can't play like 8 bruiser and a fucking Kaisa, right? So you're gonna be playing 6 bruiser for a while. So you can convert that into 8 bruiser later, but you're probably gonna play like 6 bruiser. You can play like the 6 bruiser, or sorry, 4 bruiser, 4 trick shot, 3 ink shadow, and that's probably your strongest board on level 8, right? So just some random ink shadow, 3 bruisers, bruiser emblem on somebody, and then the 4 trick shots, right? Anyways, here I'm itemizing this the Rek'Sai just because she's the strongest right now. And I'm trying to win as many rounds as possible here, because if I'm playing towards like vertical bruiser, right, I want to have that option open. It's hard to like, you know, necessarily be the richest. I should definitely be making econ here. I'm trying to just be healthy because I feel like I need the couple victory rounds to make sure that I have enough HP to make it to like level 8, level 9 in a comfortable fashion, right? I should be making econ thresholds. I'm holding too much on bench, right? I'm holding this Teemo. I'm holding this Caitlyn. This is upgraded. This is upgraded. It's a little bit awkward. Because now it's been 2 turns of not making econ. That might hurt me late game, right? I'm trying my best to, like, I'm not win streaking, right? I lost a round. I lost the first round, but I am win streaking these ones, which is why I'm a little bit like, eh. But I need to make 10. I should have made 10 this turn, right? At least here. But I just have too many upgrades, right? I made this Riven 2 because I just found it. And you would think it's like really strong. But if I don't streak with it now, I'm in like a really bad spot, right? There is a chance I can also, with 8 bruiser, another line you can go as Riven reroll. I haven't tried it yet. But I have faith that it's very strong. It's just very difficult for me. Here I'm leveling again. I need to sell some stuff, right? 4 bruiser, just a Zyra. Like I need to make econ, right? If I'm not making econ here, it's really bad. I don't even need this bruiser guy. I can just play like an extra damage unit because my front line looks like it's fine. Yeah, okay. I'm just making econ. I have this Kabuko. I'm holding on to this Kabuko because I'm debating if I just play like 6 bruiser, but you need to be level 6 to play 6 bruiser. But I might never find a Kabuko again. I think do I even win against this guy? I think I do, right? My Rek'Sai should be tanky enough. Also, Steadfast and Crown Guard work really well together because they both proc at like similar intervals. So they stack themselves really nicely. So it's a good item combination, right? A lot of times I like to talk about item combinations. Because sometimes, like, you know, even though something's not this, right? You look at the stats, it's like this item's like kind of good. A lot of times it's hard to like find item pairs, right? There's certain items that work really well together. Steadfast and Crown Guard work really well together. But they're both chainmail items, so usually your last item you want it to be like something with a cloak, right? To make like a proper frontline unit. But if you're making like a damaging offensive unit, like especially like SYLAS, these are like really good. I'm debating who to put Bruiser Emblem on. It's definitely put on another option that you can play with 8 Bruiser is you can play 8 Bruiser plus Sage, which I think is what I'm leaning towards this game. That's why I didn't want to itemize the Zyra, because in my head I'm thinking like, well, I'll put this on somebody else later, and I might have to sell the Zyra, and I don't want to sell the Zyra, right? The Sage variation, I've played the Sage variation before. The reason the Sage variation is nice is because it's similar to, like, you can play 6 Bruiser with the Sage variation, right? If you're playing the Kaisa variation, a lot of times playing 6 Bruiser is very weak. With the Sage variation, playing 6 Bruiser is a lot stronger, but then you're really relying on the SYLAS as the carry, right? But it kind of comes down to whatever items I get off these Krugs, right? I kind of listed a lot of different options, a lot of different lines, and I've kind of been talking about it a little bit, right? The main thing that you have to note, like, obviously, like, there's a best line. It's hard to find that in the stats, because, like, 8 Bruiser itself isn't as strong. We'll check the stats in a second. I just want to see, like, basically we'll do what we always do. We'll look at the next augment, and then we'll look at the stats. So I get a bow. If I get like a Last Whisper, it's kind of like chalked. I get a cloak. Yeah, so I don't get any AP items. That's fine. I did use like one of my rods here, which is understandable. Zyra 2 now. There's another Zyra to hold. I don't know if, like, you know, there's some sort of reroll. You can play like Riven Zyra and go for 3-star of both of them. Right? There's a Zyra Riven reroll line. With the Bruiser spat, but I'm kind of just scouting. This guy's just Faded Dryad, which is like whatever. Anyways, so let's look at what my next augment is. Anything that kind of does, like, honestly, like, you just want combat, right? I'm not that poor. I did 4 streak, right? So even though I didn't make econ, making the Riven 2 was a very big power spike, especially with the Bruiser +1. Hopefully I can beat this guy, but the chances are I don't. It's like 3 items on this fucking dude is really annoying. Yeah, and Faded. Is this a Thresh 2? Yeah, this guy just high rolled. What the fuck? Like, I have a Riven 2 and I fight this guy as a Thresh 2. That thing's unkillable. It's even with a Yasuo. That sucks. So now I'm kind of broke, but it's okay. 40 gold level 5 is okay. I just can't really level to 6. I kind of have to sit here now. Okay, it's still... Silver Veil is okay. Silver Veil is okay, because I might be playing... Oh, Unified is really good, actually. So the reason Unified is good here... Unified is typically good. This one's also good. I wonder if Exiles is better. We'll check it after. So let's go now. First, we'll do the little thing. Thank you for all the support. If you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe. We're going to have an RP giveaway at 500 subs. We just finished our previous giveaway, so make sure to subscribe if you want to be entered in that. And follow the instructions when we get close to our goal. Thank you. Alright. So if we look at these stats. So let's just put like 8 Bruiser in the stats, right? 8 Bruiser average is like a 3.5. It's pretty good if you actually get there. I wonder what 6 Bruiser is. I remember 6 Bruiser was sometimes better than 8 Bruiser. 4.5, never mind. I guess 6 Bruiser is pretty not okay. So, let's say you're playing 8 Bruiser. And let's look at like what the best items. Obviously, it's like SYLAS Galio. You need them to play 8 Bruiser. Then it's Rakan, Irelia, Lee Sin. Right? You kind of just play this capped board where you're playing around legendary units. And a lot of times you can put like the Bruiser emblem on Rakan. And then, like, you know, if you look here, it's like a lot of the 5 costs. It's like usually if you can hit to a point where you hit like the 5 costs. A lot of these are like level 10 as well. Right? Just to note. Ooh, Kane's really good. I wonder why. I guess with Ghostly, you just have like Giga Frontline. You can play Ghostly variation with it. Volibear. If you look at some of the lines, like this was what I was saying with 8 Bruiser. Kai'Sa's pretty bad. Right? And Xayah is also pretty bad. Right? Because with the 8 Bruiser variation, you typically can't fit in all of these units. Right? So it's actually like, this is a mistake that I make in this game, but this is why like this variation usually don't lean towards. Because if you play 8 Bruiser, on level 9 you're playing 2 Trickshot. You're playing Kai'Sa, Xayah, 8 Bruiser. That used to be like a go-to kind of comp, but it's actually pretty bad. Right? If you have 8 Bruiser and you're playing Kai'Sa, on average you place worse. Right? You place close to a 4, which isn't even that good for like a spat vertical style emblem. Right? So a lot of times, like as I was saying, you can play around Lilia. Morgana is like the Sage variation, which I was talking about, which you could play the Sage variation where you play Morgana in your front backline with some other Sage units. But typically, you kind of just want to have like one legendary unit, right? Like even in Azir, like, you know, if you play like the Lilia version, this is like Nautilus, Azir. You play Nautilus, Azir, Lilia, and then 8 Bruiser, and that's like a level 10 board, right? But having a legendary unit, they just pump out more damage, right? Bruisers are going to be an infinite frontline. You just want somebody that just does a shit ton of damage. Ideally single target, and you just go nuts, right? Or AoE. And then, so for example, like Irelia in this variation is like very fucking strong. You play Irelia plus one other like fucking dude, right? Irelia also will give you the Kale, right? She'll synergize with Story Weaver, and then just put in a Duelist. And then Rakan is really good. The reason Rakan is so good is because Rakan is altruist, right? So let's say you have 8 Bruiser and you go augments, right? Obviously, like Lucky Paws, well fed, heavy hitters, all of these are like insane, right? Build a Bud is usually like you start with like a Kabuko 3 or something else, so it's like really insane. Little Buddies is good. The ones that are usually okay are like Unified Resistance. Does it increase the average? Oh, it's actually not that good. Usually Unifieds are good and Exiles is worse, as I remember. I remember checking and Exiles was worse. Usually you like Unified Resistance. Because basically if you're playing Bruisers, I guess it just doesn't matter. Like you'd rather have like a combat, right? Like 1, 2s, 3s is better. And Young Wilded Free. Like these ones are just better. Partial Ascension. Yeah, Ascension's probably gonna be really good. What I was gonna say is like it doesn't say in the stats, but it's like almost good. It's like a little bit plus delta, but like if you take it late game, it's like a lot better, right? The reason Unified is like pretty good is because if you have a tank unit and they have a bunch of HP, and then you give them armor and MR, then they have all 3 tank stats, right? If you think about a tank, there's 3 stats for a tank, right? There's health, armor, and MR, right? So reduce magic damage, reduce physical damage, and then have HP that either reduces true damage, right? That if the unit's doing true damage, or just in general, like, you know, HP is how long your unit lives, right? Bruisers gives a lot of HP, so fitting in Altruist as well as like Altruist with the Recon, because you already have a Riven, because Riven's Bruiser gives you armor and MR. Unified Resistance also gives you armor and MR, so it just makes your whole front line more tanky, right? That's like the thought process behind it. So it kind of synergizes a little bit well. If you go 8 Bruiser SYLAS, let's say 8 Bruiser SYLAS 2, averages like around a 3 in terms of itemizations. Obviously Suspicious Trenchcoat. Let's just do craftable items. Putting utility is really good. Just giving him straight up damage is also very good. You can see like, you know, you probably do like a Bramble Declaw, so he's just infinite. He just doesn't ever die. But you can literally just, because he has so much HP, you can literally just build like full on damage items. But if you look here, the tank items are also okay, right? The thing that the tank items really help with though is if you play like a 6 Bruiser variation. Let's say you play like 4 Trickshot, Kaisa 2, right? And let's say you have like a Bruiser Emblem, right? It averages a little bit worse. Yeah, it averages better, right? Because basically what you can do is you can play like the 3 Ink Shadow. Let's say we put this and we go 6 Bruiser, for example. It averages better, right? The idea is that you can just play like 6 Bruiser at a max cap, because you really need the 4 trick shot, right? Because if you do like Kaisa 2-star, 8 Bruiser, right, averages like a 3.7, and then 6 Bruiser. I guess 8 Bruiser does work somewhat. It's hard to do the stats for this because you have to put like the emblem in. I don't have the advanced explorer, but like what I was showing before still holds, right? When I was showing that like Kaisa with the Bruiser emblem is like plus delta. Yeah, I don't really know how to show it. It's like if you play towards the Kaisa variation. Here I ended up finding a Kaisa. This is 4-1, by the way. Let me just go back a little bit. We kind of skip stage 3 a lot of the times, because a lot of times in stage 3, like all I did was I just econned, right? I'm just econing to be able to go 8. So like, you know, it was just a matter of like small micro positioning and stuff like that. So that's usually when we look at the stats. What I was gonna say is that like when I showed you the first stat with the Bruiser emblem and 8 Bruiser, it says that it's plus delta to play around Kaisa, right? It's better just to play those other lines. The Kaisa line does worse with the Bruiser emblem, so playing 8 Bruiser with the Kaisa, it's obviously strong, but it's just a worse line, right? Here I made Spark because I just like having Spark on the SYLAS is really good. You can just kind of go around and go infinite, right? I think my augments kind of work really well for frontline. I really need like a damage in combat augment ideally later. My items didn't really work out to get like AP items for like a Morgana, right? I didn't get a single tier. So that was my main issue. I already made this. See, I was definitely wanted to play towards the Morgana line. I literally made like AP Kale as well, right? But it just didn't work out, right? It just didn't work out. Like if you look at my items, I got dropped like 3 bows. Red buff is okay on Morgana, right? But I didn't get any tiers, and not having tiers at this stage in the game, it's like, what are my Morgana items? I literally have none. So now it's like I'm playing just to, and I got dropped the Kaisa, right? I found it during the stage at one point. So we just go through here. I just take well fed, probably because I have 8 Bruiser. The problem is here is that this is why Unified was a little bit awkward, because now I have well fed. I have this Bruiser emblem, right? I have all this shit going for me, but the problem is is that I don't really have any like offense, right? I have a lot of good stall for tank, but I don't have good offense. Right, so I switch out the Zyra. It kind of sucks that I'm AP Kale. Tattoo of Fury helps a little bit. My Kai'Sa is just like an attack speed demon. I'm rolling a little bit because ideally I hit something. Ideally I hit like a SYLAS that I can swap out this Rek'Sai for. I didn't make the Sivir because I want to swap out the Sivir eventually, and then I'll have to find another Sivir. So I'm rolling pretty deep for SYLAS here. I'm also Galio paired, right? I'm Galio paired. I'm Aatrox paired. So it's not like the end of the world to roll deep. Usually you don't want to roll unless you're rolling for something in particular. In this case, I'm kind of very fixated on this BRUISER line. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the line where I'm playing 2 Trickshot. So I'm just going to play like Xayah Kai'Sa. And I showed you already that that's like a worse version of the of this augment, right? It's a worse version of playing towards vertical BRUISER. I could always switch. Like my items aren't like fixed to Kai'Sa. Obviously I can still play something else, but here I'm playing ooh, I hit Kai'Sa too. Yeah, that kind of solidifies this problem here. I'm just gonna have to play Kai'Sa, right? Did I even find a Morgana on my roll down? I don't even think I saw a Morgana. Let me go through this roll down again real fast. I wasn't even looking. Right, I find Tom Kench. Yeah, I don't find a single Morgana, right? I find a Lilia, but like Lilia with red buff and nothing else isn't that great. There's a Kayn, there's a couple Kayns. Yeah, I just found Kai'Sas. I didn't find any AP units, right? So I'm kind of forced into this line. That makes sense, because I really wanted to play towards AP. Right, red buff isn't the worst on Morgana. It's like the same as Morello. She just spreads it really well and does bonus damage. That's fine. But it's just like you really need to like focus. You really gotta hope that on wolves you get tears if you're playing that line. Oops. Whoa, that was weird. I'm basically just donkey rolling for the SYLAS still. I'm still Galio paired, so I'm rolling for something. Galio's a pretty good spike. I'm playing 6 BRUISER here. I could drop to 4 BRUISER to play 2 additional Trickshot units. It's just a matter of like what's more important, frontline or the Trickshot units. I should keep my eyes peeled for a Teemo at least. Right? I don't think I saw a Teemo yet. I am rolling really deep. There are a lot of people that are very strong and will cap very high. So, you know, I'm probably stable with a Kai'Sa too. Ooh, there's a Xayah with a bow. A SYLAS with a tier is great here, honestly. So if I get the SYLAS, I'd be really happy, but I don't think I will. SYLAS is pretty hotly contested a lot of the time. Even now, they nerf SYLAS, right? I think this should be when they nerf SYLAS, by the way. This should be like the newer patch, I'm pretty sure. I think it was just early on the new patch, so nobody really knew what they were doing. I get it anyways. Nobody's really playing towards that unit. That guy's very fucking strong. Is he like Fortune Cash Out or some shit? How does he have so much legendary? This guy, Deathblade, that's strong as shit. I guess it's he got a lot of value off his Deathblade because he has the Deathblade augment where he gets the extra gold, so he just had a lot to roll with. Now I hit this Galio 2. I have a SYLAS 1. So I can upgrade the Galio. I can switch out this Rek'Sai for SYLAS. I can put all the items on SYLAS. And then I'll just sit not to make any items because I'm either going to remake this Kai'Sa. Oh, wait. Am I going to roll for... No, I shouldn't. I was thinking of rolling the tier. Yeah, I rolled the tier. I get Last Whisper. Yeah. I kind of gave up on playing Morgana here. I'm just going to play this Kai'Sa too. Is that a mistake? Should I just hold the items? I think I just want to win for sure, right? Because now I definitely don't have to roll, right? If I get, like, I remade the tier because it's like, if I make any Kai'Sa item, that's good for me. Because tier, at this point, if I'm playing Kai'Sa Xayah, I have no use for tier, right? I have my frontline items. I devoted 3 items to this SYLAS, right? I have all frontline traits, so I don't need to make any frontline items. It's literally just offense items. And neither Xayah nor Kai'Sa really want a tier. A lot of people put Shojin on Kai'Sa. I don't think Shojin on Kai'Sa is that good. We can check the stats. Items. Is Shojin good? I'm pretty sure Shojin's bad, right? In a lot of setups. Yeah, it's plus Delta. I see this happen a lot. There's like a theory behind it where you give her Shojin so that she casts more and she does more damage. But I think it's not that good. Red buff's also pretty bad, but you know, that's the hand I was dealt, I guess. But like, usually I think Shojin is like to kill the tier. right? It's because like you don't have anybody else to put a tier on if you already made your tank items. We have a Syndra player, double adaptive, Rabadon. This double adaptive, by the way, I've talked about it a lot, and people seem to like think it's like good. I hope people now realize that it's not necessary, it's not that good. I've seen less and less people building it. Like, I remember I was talking about it, and like I had a comment on one of my YouTube videos that was like, you're technically this is a mistake because the BIS is when you play double Shojin, or sorry, double adaptive helm. And I was like, listen, that's very situational, and I think it is situational here. Wait, can we go back a second? Sorry, I'm skipping around. So if you look at this guy, what's the problem with his board? Right here, I'll tell you what's the problem with his board. Look at his board right now. What's his problem? Do you think he's gonna go top 4? Or do you think he's gonna go bot 4? There's one big problem with his board. This is a quiz. Type it in the comments. You have 5 seconds. What's wrong with his board? Alright, I'm gonna continue the video now. The problem with his board is he has no shred, right? And the reason he has no shred is because he used all of his shred components on the fucking adaptive helms, right? It's that's the biggest problem with it, right? If you don't just get dropped a bunch of adaptive helms and a spark, it's like, how do you make 2 adaptive helm? One adaptive helm is bad, right? If you look at the stats, a singular adaptive helm on Syndra is bad. 2 adaptive helms does on par, like it does like slightly less. It does almost as well, but slightly less than just making blue buff Nashers, right? The problem is, number one, with that comp, if you have a sword, you're fucked, because you can't use the sword for anything except Shojin, and then you have to play around Shojin Nashers on Syndra, right? The other problem is, what are the components that you can use to make shred? You make a spark, so an ionic spark, which is a rod and a cape, right? A rod and a cloak, or it's shiv, which is a bow and a tier, right? So the only 2 ways to make shred in this game, if you're not relying on another unit, are those 2 items, right? So if you can't make shiv because you're using all your tiers for the Syndra, typically shiv is going to be hard to make, you have to make a spark. And if you can't make a spark because you're using all the cloaks on the Syndra, it's like, now what the fuck are you going to do, right? So you gotta, and then it's like, you know, on top of that, you're using the rods on the Syndra as well, because you're going to make Rabadons with that build path, or you're going to make JG with that build path, right? So that's why, like, typically, like, something like Shojin Nasher, or sorry, blue buff Shojin Nasher's JG or blue buff Nasher's JG, it works better because you're only using 1 rod on the unit, and you don't have to, and then you can use the other rod that you would get dropped. Instead of making like a Rabadon, use that rod to make a spark, right? And that's what I was trying to explain in like the previous video. I'm just bringing it up now because I remembered about it, because I saw this guy and I was like, that's a really bad spot, right? Because like there's no way that guy's gonna top 4. Like, I can tell from now. It doesn't matter if it's like Syndra BIS, it's like that guy's not gonna top 4 in my head. If he does top 4, we can watch out for it. Maybe he does. Maybe he just has enough damage to win without the shred components, but it doesn't look that good for him. This is the guy right here. He might beat me now, but I don't know for sure. I'm trying to go 9. The reason I'm going 9 is because I can just play 8 Bruiser on level 9, and then I'm also gonna look for Xayah, right? I should be stable with all my units. Yeah, so how is he gonna beat me without shred? Let's see if he beats me. Is it close at all? He's level 9. It's pretty close, actually. He might beat me. Yeah, he just has enough damage. Oh, wait. Maybe not. Oh. My Kai said doesn't have enough damage. Yeah. He beats me now. He was able to make it to level 9. He's pumping out damage like no tomorrow, but I think like if I hit 8 Bruiser, like if I was also level 9, there's no chance he beats me, right? But we'll keep our eyes peeled. Yeah, this guy just committed to Sage SYLAS, which kind of fucking sucks, because it's not even that good of a comp. So he took all the Morganas, and that's probably why I couldn't find any Morgana. So I had to play this lesser variation, because I was basically Giga contested by the guy in first, if I'm not mistaken. Or Giga contested by somebody. We should check who it is. Where's the Sage SYLAS guy? It is the Chonk. Oh no, he's in last place. So he just griefed the game. I find it funny that I was talking about how the guy has no shred and then he just beats me. I'm pretty sure it's because I have SYLAS 1, right? Like most of my tank items are devoted to this SYLAS. I had this TG. I just put it on the Galio because I have a Galio too. And like I said, I'm just trying to stay strong because I want to make it to level 9. Level 9 unlocks me with the Xayah, and I can play towards the 8 Bruiser line that I was talking about. After we hit level 9 though, we'll watch how I don't end up winning this game, I go second. So towards the end of this video, if you guys are still around, we will spend some time analyzing what my options were and how I didn't really go for the best option. Yeah, this guy's level 9. He's just holding everything. I'm pretty sure he's holding the SYLAS for fun. Is he holding the SYLAS just to grief me? I guess he's just like he has no money. Why is he holding these units? Like, that's just a straight grief, right? He's not playing BRUISER, is he? I think he's just trying to grief me. Yeah. I think he's just like this is, I lost to this guy? Really? I'm pretty sure this is the guy that beats me. Bro, I lost to this fuck ass guy. Like, he's literally like not even making econ. He's rolling to 0 without like the fight's already happening. Why is he rolling? Is he trying to deny somebody like the Syndra? Like, who is he denying? Because if he's not rolling to deny somebody, because if he was rolling to deny somebody, he'd sell these because there's nobody going for SYLAS 3, right? But he's literally not making econ, holding like extra 4 costs for what? Like, he wants to switch in and play SYLAS later? I mean, we'll come back to it. Maybe he wants to play SYLAS. No, he sold the SYLAS for a dude now. I don't get it. Rakan is nice. Well, actually, sorry, Zaya's incredible for this board. See, this is the problem though, because Rakan would be so good because it gives me altruist, which also helps my whole front line, right? So I kind of just yeah, like Zaya's better than this. It's like Story Weaver. I lose Story Weaver as well. This line is so bad. I think it's like I honestly, honest to God, I think it's 6 BRUISER. And I'll talk about it later. I think I just don't have the damage output that's required. Ooh, Lilia in the corner is less scary. Oh, this is early in the patch, so he's playing like the Sniper Lilia variation where you play like Ashe Lilia. So that's good for me, because I think the other lines where you play like Sage Lilia or just Vertical Mythic are a lot stronger. Yeah, you see how like I'm getting sniped? Like my unit in the back is not that great. And I have only SYLAS 1 with 3 items, which is pretty bad here. But I am greeting, right? I have a lot of HP to work with, right? Remember in stage 2 and stage 3, I was saying like I really want to have a lot of HP so I can make it to 9. This is what I usually mean. Sometimes you have really good econ, but even something that's undervalued sometimes is having a lot of health, right? If you preserve a lot of health in stage 2 and stage 3, then you can make it to level 9 just off bleeding out, right? Like I can bleed out a couple rounds and I'm still able to like make it to 9 with a really good tempo, right? Like I'm going to be 5-5 level 9. That's good, right? It's not like the fastest level 9, but it's pretty fast, right? Some people don't make it to level 9 until stage 6, right? But I'm keeping up with lobby tempo, right? There was a couple people that were fast 9, where they were already 9 earlier in the stage. I'm okay with that, right? Yeah, this guy's just hitting everything now. Shit. I took Rabadons, right? The reason I took Rabadons is what I can do is when I make the SYLAS 2, I can pop off one of these defensive items and give SYLAS like a Giga item. Yeah, so I just level up. I have 2 Zayas. I hit Zaya 2. That's great. I lose the Ink Shadow item, right? So I'm down 1 item, which is kind of stressful. It's kind of bad. BRUISER Emblem is a lot better on Zaya, if I'm not mistaken. I think she just has more HP. So the passive damage works better. I checked the stats last time. I did a similar line, and it said that the BRUISER Emblem Zaya is the best holder in this particular situation. Oh, do I lose to this guy again? That's gonna be so sad if I lose to this guy again. Just not having the SYLAS 2. Come on, Zaya. No, I lose again. Bro, I was just talking shit on this guy, and now I'm just getting shit on. Okay, I think he definitely gets top 4 now. It was because Cluttered Mind. Man, I just need a SYLAS 2. I'm pretty sure I win every fight if I have a SYLAS 2 there. It's just one of these guys was just holding all the SYLASes, I'm pretty sure. Now I'm seeing Morganas. It's too late. I already have all my Trickshots upgraded. Yeah, I just can't find a SYLAS for the life of me. Man, that sucks. I even rolled pretty deep for like these units when I was rolling on 8, so I didn't roll. It's not like I didn't roll for my units. Oh, this is the other guy. Oh, this is pretty bad too. He has no shred either. I think he's dead. I need because I lost my Ink Shadow item, I need a new item for Kaisa, and I need Xayah items. If I can make it to 3 Xayah items, I'm really strong. Yeah, I killed this guy. Oh, finally, SYLAS 2. Okay, so watch this. So I'm going to put in the SYLAS. I'm going to put in the Rabadons. I'm really hoping that the Spark gets put on the SYLAS. Okay, I don't get the Spark, which sucks. I think, like, I had a 2 out of 3 chance for the Spark to hit. Basically, what happens is if you build the items like that, what will happen is whatever items are on the unit that's in will stay on, and whatever units are on the SYLAS that's on bench before you build it, it will be random which ones get put on. What item I wanted the most on SYLAS was Spark, just because SYLAS has the items and he's gonna be going around town sparking everybody. It's either Deathblade or Giant Slayer. I think I just take Giant Slayer here because I'm kind of building like this attack speed Kaisa, so I just want to synergize with it a little bit better. And also, like, I think Deathblade on Kaisa isn't necessarily the greatest. Now I have to spark the Tom Kench, which kind of sucks because I would have rather had the spark on the SYLAS, but I think Rabadons is more important than both those items because we just want him to go infinite. I want him to do a shit ton of damage. Here I'm trying to decide who gets put in the corner. It's probably going to be, it should be Kaisa usually in the corner, right? The Xayah gets the healing from well-fed as well. So I'm kind of just, it's kind of nicer to put her a little bit here. Oh, I switched her because the Lilia Orb, right? Yeah, the Lilia Orb killed my Kaisa the other game. This time it might hit the Xayah and the Xayah will live. Now I have SYLAS 2, right? So as you can see, it's like a huge difference, right? 8 Bruiser, SYLAS 2, 3 items. Like, I actually have my real carry online. Like, these units are fake. The SYLAS is my real carry. And now it's like now it's just fucking over, right? As you can see, the SYLAS already does more damage than everybody else. This is what I wanted to play. Obviously, I had to stall it out for a while. I think if I had, this guy's really fucking strong. This guy's kind of weak. This is the guy I was saying that shouldn't get top 4. Because he has no shred. So let's see if I was right. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But this is what I was saying. I'm like, even from his spot, doesn't matter how strong he is, he's probably not getting a top 4. Right? I'm not trying to roast the guy either, right? Everybody makes their mistakes. Everybody does their stuff. I'm just saying that, like, that's why that build in particular, I really don't like it. Right? And I just wanted to say it out there because I'm trying to be informative. Okay, now I'm fighting him, right? If I lose to him now I have SYLAS 2. This is what I was saying. I beat him if I have SYLAS 2. Because he will not be able to kill the SYLAS in time without shred. Alright, it's looking good for me, right? My SYLAS is still alive. Syndra's is not even close, right? Yeah, it's not even close. This is what I was saying. If I had SYLAS 2 those other 2 fights, he would have been dead already. Ah, man. And he also has no combat either. Did he go 3rd or 4th? Did he go 4th or 5th? Hopefully hopefully I was right. Wait, let's check. Who is this guy? Galaxy. Yeah, he went 5th. Yeah, if I had SYLAS 2 earlier, he was dead. He was fucking dead earlier if I had SYLAS 2. That's so funny. But anyways, this is the 8 Bruiser variation. Now, what you'll see here is that it worked really well against those boards because they couldn't kill my frontline units. This guy is strong as shit, by the way. And I'll explain why, right? If you look at my board, even though I'm 8 Bruiser, I'm 2 Trickshot, it's not like the greatest board in the world. I'm kind of holding on to Econ because it's like maybe I go 10. If I go 10, I can fit in the Ink Shadow and get an extra item. I can fit in Story Weaver. And with AP Kale, in this case now, if I get Story Weaver and have AP Kale, I can put frontline AP Kale right here, and it'll give the SYLAS a little bit more AP to work with. Now, this guy is fucking strong. He has all legendaries upgraded, so he rolled a bunch on level 9 and just upgraded on playing like full legendary board, right? This Irelia, oh, this is such a bad matchup for me as well. I think I can beat him here, but I think if he gets a couple more upgrades, I'd lose. I might even lose here, actually. Yeah, I think I lose. Does my SYLAS go infinite? No, I lose. This is such a bad matchup for me. I don't think I ever beat this guy. With this type of variation, I just need way more damage and less stall. And that's something I don't identify. Yeah, I'm last alive with him. This might be last fight. It's definitely Runans, right? Oh, I got baited so hard. Oh, it was Runans for sure. Okay, so I took TG, right? But there's nobody that I took TG because usually you see a TG and you're like, oh, TG is really strong, right? I don't need a TG. I need Xayah items, and a Runans is a really good Xayah item. Okay, so let me explain what happens here. If you look at this comp, right? His comp is a stall comp but with legendaries, right? What do I mean by it's a stall comp with legendaries? He has an Irelia with a Gwynsu, right? So this Irelia with the Gwynsu, the longer she lives, the more damage she does, right? Now she has pretty much the best items you can imagine. This Irelia unit is fucking busted, by the way. She is so fucking strong in a setup like this. She has 3 really good items, like Red Buff does bonus damage, Deathblade does bonus damage, Gwynsu stacks with the length of the fight, right? So because I'm playing like 8 Bruiser, I'm a very stall heavy comp, right? So this unit is just getting free stacks and also has an a 0-2 for single target just to fucking burn out and kill anybody, right? Udyr 2 on my backline, completely like fucking railing my my Xayah and my Kai'Sa. And as you can see, like even though my SYLAS lives long enough, this Irelia she's just spreading so much damage, right? And I just never touch the Irelia. The Irelia just live forever. So the way around beating this comp is what you actually have to do is you have to drop the bruisers, right? I know 8 bruiser, it's like this whole build and we've been talking about it this whole time. This is why the 2 trickshot 8 bruiser is worse, because you just don't have the damage output, right? Like I need to see if there's a Teemo here, right? Look on this roll down, right? What we needed to do is we need to switch out and play like Teemo and or even Bard, right? Here it's like I have to try something, right? So I'm kind of committed to this bruiser line. So what I do is my plan was I'm gonna switch and I'm gonna put items on Xayah and see if that helps. Because I'm hoping that maybe with Xayah with Giant Slayer and an item could like one-shot something, right? But the truth is I'm just cooked here, right? What I should always do is it's generally higher cap. I'm pretty sure in this setup if I had a 6 bruiser and 4 trick shot, I win, right? Just because like it's the damage output, right? Like if any of these units died a little bit sooner, I win the fight, right? And that's like a point of max capping. Also, look at this guy's board, right? What is this guy playing, right? Is this some meta comp, right? Is this something that you see on the tier list? Like, just play, like, towards these? It's like, no. It's like, he just has all the legendaries upgraded, right? He has this, Azir 2, Irelia 2, Udyr 2, a random Wukong 2, Rakan for Altruist, Frontline, Ornn 2, this 2, Heavenly and Ultras. He's just really fucking strong because he has all the legendaries, right? The quality of his units is way stronger. So even though, like, I just can't stall long enough. Also, my Galio rolled really bad items here. My Riven rolled okay items. But it was definitely like, if I had, like, Runans, that would have probably helped my damage output. That was my main issue. So the TG was a useless item for me, right? Here, because I switched the items off the Kai'Sa, I lose my Shred. So I don't kill as many units here. And it's just too difficult to pierce through everything because the bruiser damage, like I said, it's like a stall comp, right? They're supposed to be like infinite. They're supposed to be unable to kill when you play like these vertical traits like that. What I really needed here was 4 trick shot. If you hold on to the 4 trick shot units and you play 6 bruiser, you have a strong enough front line and you can balance the front line with the back line damage, right? Even when you play like the Sage bruiser variation, it wasn't even a matter of like, even if I was playing like Morgana and I was playing like the better version that does better, I still would have lost this fight, I'm pretty sure. The reason is just like, it's just too difficult for me to break through all these legendary units that have so much damage output and so much HP. I need to get to that Irelia ASAP, right? So having more trick shots, getting more trick shot damage in, maybe I can snipe and kill and whittle away the damage, and then my SYLAS can wrap and etc, right? I'm playing these 2 useless units. Like, it doesn't matter that it's 8 bruiser. What the fuck is SYLAS gonna do? What the fuck is, Kabuko and Rek'Sai gonna do against a legendary unit? Both these guys are probably gonna get railed by the Wukong, and just the Wukong alone is gonna rail these 2 units. You know what I mean? Anyways, I'm trying to position him to wrap. I need to put it on the other side so he doesn't get Udyr'd. Yeah, so I'm just like shuffling a little bit, but it's still a loss. But anyways, hopefully this was informative. I kind of talked through a lot of the way. I talked through my thought process. There wasn't much in terms of positioning here. There was a couple times I had to switch my Kai'Sa from the corner because of the Lilia damage. Here, just like shuffle the units so that you don't get Udyr stunned, right? But it's also identifying how to cap out your board, right? So I didn't properly identify that I need to play 4 trick shot here instead of playing 8 bruiser, right? Sometimes you see these vertical traits, you get a spat, you think I'm gonna play the max trait, I'm gonna get this. It's like, no, it's like 6 bruiser is sufficient frontline, right? Even with well fed, drop the 2 shitter units, put the 2 trick shot shitters in, you get a bunch of extra damage, right? You also have the kale that does a little bit of damage as well, and the chances of me winning that fight go up by a lot. Now, do I win it? Maybe, maybe not, right? There's still a chance because I don't have 3 items on Zaya that I don't win it. And this guy has like 3 item Irelia, 3 item Azir, but it would probably be a lot closer just because of damage output, right? Anyways, thank you for watching. Hopefully this was informative, and enjoy. See ya.